Hello friends. What happens when fiery Aries, born under the Chinese zodiac sign of the snake, crosses paths with radiant Leo, who carries the loyal yet stubborn energy of the dog? This is not just a meeting of two individuals, it's a cosmic collision of intensity, charisma, and deeply hidden contradictions. Both are leaders in their own right, both hunger for recognition, and yet their inner worlds couldn't be more different. Aries Snake is the strategist, the magnetic mastermind who thrives in mystery, while Leo Dog is the golden-hearted protector who values loyalty, justice, and warmth above all else. But can these two very different energies coexist peacefully? Or are they destined to clash in an endless battle of wills? Let's take a deep dive into their compatibility across every aspect of life: love, marriage, intimacy, friendship, business, shadow sides, and ultimately, their shared life goals. Love. At first glance, Aries Snake and Leo Dog are drawn to one another almost magnetically, as if two opposing yet complementary forces suddenly discovered they were destined to collide. There's something hypnotic about the way this bond forms. The snake side of Aries adds mystery, elegance, and an almost dangerous sensuality, while Leo Dog shines with generosity, loyalty, and that radiant charisma that makes them impossible to ignore. The Aries Snake loves the thrill of pursuit and the satisfaction of winning over a partner who feels strong and secure, while the dog's mixture of strength, reliability, and emotional honesty is precisely the kind of challenge the snake finds irresistible. Meanwhile, the dog is captivated by the snake's enigmatic aura, sensing the layers beneath Aries' fiery surface, and craving the discovery of hidden depths. This combination makes their initial attraction something electric, a spark that feels fated rather than accidental. But true love between these two is never a simple, straight line. Aries Snake is calculating in matters of the heart, not in a cold or unfeeling way, but in a manner that prefers control. They want to feel like the strategist of the relationship, orchestrating moments, guiding energy, ensuring that the upper hand is always within reach. The Leo Dog, however, does not play by such rules. The dog is open-hearted, courageous in vulnerability, and demanding of fairness and transparency. The dog does not understand why feelings should ever be hidden or disguised, because for them, love is sacred and meant to be shared openly. This clash of instincts can bring both fascination and frustration. The Aries Snake might keep secrets, not always dangerous secrets, sometimes simply private thoughts or unspoken emotions, but to the dog, such withholding can feel like betrayal. They want to trust completely, to feel that nothing stands between them and their partner's inner world. When they sense hidden motives or unspoken truths, their sense of security begins to wobble. Misunderstandings arise. The snake believes they are simply protecting the relationship by maintaining control, while the dog interprets this as distance or dishonesty. The very traits that drew them together, snake's mystery, dog's devotion, can quickly become points of tension if left unchecked. Yet, when both partners lean into growth, something extraordinary is born. The snake, though secretive by nature, has a well of passion that can overwhelm even their own defenses, and when they allow the dog to see their vulnerability, it is like unlocking a rare treasure. In return, the dog offers the snake stability, reassurance, and the kind of loyalty that cannot be bought or forced. It is given freely, but only to those deemed worthy. This exchange is transformative. The snake learns that love can be safe even without control, while the dog discovers that passion can thrive even amid mystery. Together, they create a balance. The snake provides depth, allure, and a sense of eternal discovery, while the dog grounds the relationship with warmth, steadiness, and a protective devotion that never wavers. Their love is like a fire fed by both oxygen and embers, the oxygen of Aries' impulsive, fiery energy combined with the glowing embers of Snake's sensuality and depth, and the dog's steady flame that keeps it from burning out of control. In practice, this can look like nights of endless conversation, where the dog tries to peel away the snake's layers with gentle persistence, and mornings where the snake surprises the dog with gestures that show they've been listening, observing, calculating ways to express devotion in a manner uniquely their own. These moments of balance, when mystery meets loyalty, when fire meets steadiness, are what keep the love alive. Still, challenges are inevitable. The Aries snake's tendency toward control can trigger the dog's stubbornness. The dog might dig in their heels, demanding absolute honesty, while the snake retreats further into privacy. The love they share can feel like a constant push and pull, one partner chasing, the other retreating, roles shifting back and forth. But strangely, this tension fuels their passion. The dog feels alive when challenged, and the snake feels powerful when tested. It's not a gentle love, it's a love that forces both to grow. Over time, if both embrace patience, the relationship evolves into a union unlike any other. The dog teaches the snake that openness is not weakness, that vulnerability can deepen intimacy rather than threaten it. The snake, in turn, teaches the dog that not all mysteries are betrayals, that sometimes holding a piece of oneself back allows love to remain exciting, surprising, and alive with curiosity. This dance, though complex, is what makes their bond enduring. To outsiders, their love may look intense, even exhausting at times. Friends may wonder how the dog tolerates the snake's enigmatic ways, or how the snake accepts the dog's constant demands for honesty and reassurance. But what outsiders don't see is the undercurrent of passion, the way these two signs awaken each other in ways no one else could. For them, love is not about simplicity. It's about transformation, challenge, and the creation of something larger than either could achieve alone. In the grand scheme, Aries snake and Leo dog are not just lovers, they are mirrors. The snake reflects the dog's need for patience and trust, while the dog reflects the snake's hidden desire to be fully seen. When they choose to stay, to work through storms and misunderstandings, the result is extraordinary. A love that is fiery yet stable, passionate yet enduring, mysterious yet profoundly real. It is not the easiest love story, but it is one worth living. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video, or through the donation alerts link in the description. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. Marriage. Marriage between Aries snake and Leo dog is both a fascinating challenge and a deeply rewarding experience, a bond that is forged not in ease but in trial, and strengthened not by comfort alone but by the storms they learn to weather together. From the very beginning, there is a noticeable difference in how each partner views the institution of marriage. Aries snake often approaches it with caution, carrying within them a deep need for independence, even within the walls of a lifelong commitment. Their snake nature means they value private pursuits, personal ambitions, and secret inner projects that they may or may not reveal to anyone, even their spouse. To Aries snake, marriage is a partnership, yes, but it should never mean the complete surrender of individuality. They need to know that their personal identity will remain intact, even as they share their life with another. Leo dog, in contrast, has an entirely different vision of marriage. For them, marriage is a sanctuary, a sacred space where loyalty, transparency, and constant emotional reassurance form the foundation. They want their partner to be open, consistent, and reliable. To Leo dog, love is not something hidden or guarded. It is something proudly displayed, affirmed, and nurtured daily. They thrive when they feel secure, when they sense that their partner has nothing to hide, and when every action reflects devotion. When paired with Aries snake, this creates both attraction and friction. The dog is drawn to the snake's mysterious independence, yet over time that very quality can spark suspicion or loneliness. The heart of their marital journey lies in negotiation. The snake must learn the delicate art of opening up more than they are naturally inclined to let Leo dog feel included in their secretive world. The dog does not demand to know every detail, but they do crave enough transparency to feel trusted. For the snake, this can feel risky, even uncomfortable, because it challenges their instinct to protect their inner life. But when they take this step, they discover that sharing vulnerabilities does not weaken them, it deepens intimacy. On the other side, Leo dog must grow to understand that the snake's occasional withdrawal is not necessarily a sign of betrayal or emotional coldness, but a natural need for solitude and reflection. Dogs are loyal guardians, but they must learn that their snake partner sometimes needs space to regenerate. This understanding prevents unnecessary conflicts, allowing the marriage to breathe instead of suffocate. When these lessons are absorbed, their marriage transforms into a union of passion and purpose. Aries Snake pushes boundaries, seeking transformation, adventure, and reinvention in life, while Leo Dog ensures stability, offering a protective backbone to the relationship. It is a remarkable pairing when balanced, because each provides what the other lacks. The snake gives the dog excitement, vision, and an ever-renewing sense of intrigue, while the dog grounds the snake in loyalty, reminding them of the value of home, consistency, and shared duty. Together, they can achieve a marriage that is not only resilient but also dynamic, one that evolves with time rather than stagnates. The difficulties, however, should not be underestimated. The snake's independence can sometimes feel like detachment, leaving the dog feeling unappreciated or even excluded. If unchecked, this can create resentment, with the dog believing that their partner is withholding affection. Similarly, the dog's need for reassurance may feel excessive to the snake, who values subtlety and quiet devotion over constant verbal affirmation. These differences require patience, empathy, and continuous compromise. Without them, their marriage could become a battlefield of misunderstandings. But when nurtured with effort and mutual respect, the very traits that once clashed can become the glue that binds them together. Marriage for Aries Snake and Leo Dog is not the easy road, but it is the rewarding one. It teaches both partners lessons they might never learn otherwise. The snake discovers the beauty of shared vulnerability, of allowing another soul to truly enter their inner world. The dog learns the strength of patience, of trusting without demanding constant proof, and of giving space without fear. Through these lessons, they not only grow as a couple but as individuals. Their union becomes a crucible of personal evolution, shaping them into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate partners. In the end, this marriage can be incredibly resilient. The trials they face do not break them but rather test their devotion. When balanced correctly, theirs is a love that matures gracefully, moving from fiery beginnings into a steady flame that warms both partners for a lifetime. Aries Snake brings passion and transformation. Leo Dog brings stability and protection. Together, they inspire one another to become better, not by erasing differences but by embracing them. That is the paradox of their marriage. It is hardest when it begins, but strongest when it endures. Sex. Intimacy between Aries Snake and Leo Dog is a fascinating dance, one that carries with it an intensity far beyond the physical. For Aries Snake, sex is never merely about the body. It is an art form, a ritual, a carefully orchestrated performance where seduction becomes poetry and touch transforms into an act of power. They bring a mysterious allure into the bedroom. The snake's hypnotic charm combined with Aries' fiery instinct creates a lover who is both deeply sensual and fiercely passionate. Every gesture is deliberate, every movement charged with meaning. To be with an Aries Snake is to feel as though you were entering a world of secrets, where physical intimacy opens the door to hidden layers of desire and unspoken emotion. Leo Dog, on the other hand, comes to intimacy with a more direct, heartfelt approach. Their passion is genuine, raw, and emotionally anchored. For the dog, sex is about closeness, about affirming love through touch, about building trust through vulnerability. Where the snake enjoys the game of seduction and the thrill of subtle control, the dog seeks honesty, warmth, and openness. They are not concerned with veils and mystery. They want to feel and to give wholeheartedly, to make love as a declaration of loyalty and devotion. At times, these different rhythms can clash. The snake thrives in subtlety and intensity, preferring long, drawn-out seduction, layered with teasing and symbolic gestures, while the dog desires transparency and straightforward passion. To the dog, withholding feels like distance. To the snake, revealing everything at once feels like a loss of magic. These differences can initially cause frustration. The snake may find the dog too blunt or too predictable, while the dog may see the snake as elusive, hard to grasp, or overly enigmatic. And yet, it is precisely this contrast that holds the potential for their greatest strength. The snake awakens hidden desires in the dog, stirring a side of them that even the dog may not realize exists. The mysterious allure of the snake invites the dog to slow down, to savor the buildup, to enter into the world of subtle passion where every glance, every whisper, and every gentle touch carries weight. In turn, the dog grounds the snake with loyalty and tenderness, teaching them that intimacy does not always need to be shrouded in mystery to be profound. With the dog, the snake learns to trust enough to let go of control, to feel the beauty of being fully seen without fear. Together, their intimacy becomes not just physical, but emotional, spiritual, and transformative. The snake brings fire, intrigue, and depth, while the dog offers warmth, devotion, and security. Their union creates a unique alchemy, one partner weaving shadows and secrets, the other shining light and love. This interplay is not about winning or losing, but about learning, the snake discovering the beauty of open vulnerability, and the dog experiencing the thrill of seduction and mystery. In practice, this means their lovemaking evolves constantly. Early encounters may feel like a battle between fire and earth, one pressing for honesty, the other cloaked in mystery. But over time, they learn to blend these differences into harmony. The snake introduces playfulness, creativity, and the art of slowing down, turning intimacy into something multidimensional. The dog anchors this with sincerity, loyalty, and emotional depth, ensuring that sex is never shallow or empty but always filled with meaning. Their bed becomes a place not just of passion but of growth, where both partners learn to stretch beyond their natural tendencies. This connection extends beyond the physical act itself. After moments of passion, the dog seeks closeness, cuddling, whispered words of reassurance, a sense of emotional bonding. The snake, who might otherwise withdraw after intimacy, finds themselves drawn to this warmth, intrigued by the comfort of staying present, of letting the dog's loyalty wash over them like a steady flame. Slowly, the snake learns that sex with the dog is not a performance that ends, but a continuous thread of intimacy that binds them long after the physical moment has passed. The result is a union that can be deeply healing. For the snake, whose nature often keeps them detached or in control, the dog's openness teaches them the value of surrender, of allowing love to be as raw and unguarded as desire itself. For the dog, whose straightforward nature can sometimes miss the subtler shades of passion, the snake's presence reveals that there are infinite ways to experience closeness, not just through words and actions, but through energy, tension, and the unspoken mysteries of attraction. Their sex life, when nurtured, becomes a reflection of their entire relationship, fiery, complex, sometimes conflicting, but always rich and transformative. It is a constant dance of balance, between mystery and honesty, seduction and sincerity, fire and loyalty. They may not always move in perfect sync, but in the tension between their styles lies the electricity that keeps their connection alive. In the end, Aries snake and Leo dog are capable of creating a sexual bond that is as passionate as it is soulful. It is never ordinary, never routine. It challenges both to grow, to compromise, to embrace not just their similarities but their stark differences. And through this, their intimacy becomes something larger than themselves, a fusion of fire and devotion, secrecy and openness, art and heart. It is not just sex, it is transformation, the merging of two powerful energies into one unforgettable flame. Friendship. Can Aries snake and Leo dog form a lifelong friendship? Absolutely, but not in the shallow, casual way many friendships come and go. When these two unite as friends, their bond is written in bold, etched deep into the lives of both individuals, as though destiny had arranged for them to meet and stand side by side. What makes this friendship so magnetic is the blend of qualities they bring. Aries snake, with its hypnotic mix of fiery energy and snake-like cunning, and Leo dog, with its open heart, fierce loyalty, and relentless determination. Together, they do not just make companions, they become an alliance, a team, a shield and sword for one another. Aries snake admires the dog's unwavering loyalty, perhaps even more than they initially admit. Loyalty is not something the snake gives freely nor something they expect easily from others, because their worldview is often built on layers of caution, strategy, and self-protection. Yet in the dog, they find a friend who is honest to a fault, who shows up without hesitation, who will defend them not only in times of peace but especially in times of conflict. To the snake, this is gold, a rare treasure in a world they often navigate with suspicion. It softens them, allowing the snake to lower their guard and experience the kind of trust they rarely allow. On the other hand, the dog respects the snake's wisdom and strategic mind. The dog is passionate, straightforward, sometimes impulsive in their rush to protect or defend, but they instinctively know that the snake sees further ahead. The snake has vision. They plan, they anticipate, they notice the details others miss. To the dog, this is not threatening but deeply reassuring. When they partner with a snake, they feel safer, more capable of channeling their natural determination into goals that have been thought through with precision. This is where their friendship shines. One provides the strategy, the other the energy to bring it to life. Together, they form a duo that can conquer any challenge. In work, in play, in life's countless battles, they are the kind of friends who lift each other up instead of competing to push one another down. The snake brings vision, planning, subtlety, and patience. The dog adds determination, moral strength, and a relentless drive to see things through to completion. When combined, their friendship becomes a partnership in the truest sense. They are stronger together than either could be apart. But no friendship, no matter how powerful, is without its dangers. Here, the risk lies in miscommunication. Snakes' secrecy, their tendency to keep thoughts and feelings hidden behind layers of silence or deflection, can irritate the dog, who values honesty above all else. The dog does not understand why a friend should conceal their emotions or their struggles, because for them, friendship means full transparency. When the snake withdraws, the dog may feel untrusted, even betrayed. This is the heart of their challenge. One values mystery, the other demands clarity. Yet, if they learn to accept each other's nature, the bond they create can stand strong against the test of time. The dog must understand that secrecy for the snake is not always a lack of trust but often a form of self-protection or simply a preference for privacy. The snake must, in turn, recognize that the dog's demand for openness is not meddling but a sincere expression of loyalty and care. This mutual acceptance is not easy, but once achieved, it cements their friendship into something nearly unbreakable. What emerges then is a rare kind of connection, one where both become protectors of each other's vulnerabilities. The snake, despite their cool exterior, craves a safe place to rest, and the dog provides it without hesitation. The dog, for all their courage, sometimes suffers from doubts and insecurities, and the snake offers wisdom, guidance, and a calming presence that steadies them. They balance each other in ways others cannot. The snake tempers the dog's intensity, while the dog melts the snake's guarded heart. Over the years, their friendship deepens into a partnership that transcends ordinary companionship. They learn each other's silences, decode each other's moods, and develop an unspoken language where even the smallest gestures carry meaning. The dog knows when to push the snake to share, and the snake knows when to quietly stand by the dog in their moments of vulnerability. They fight at times, of course. The snake's reticence versus the dog's insistence can create storms. But unlike other friendships that collapse under tension, theirs tends to emerge stronger after conflict, because both secretly value the bond too much to let it fracture. This friendship, when nurtured, becomes a lifelong fortress. They support each other's dreams not out of duty but genuine belief. The snake encourages the dog to think strategically, to plan instead of rushing headlong into challenges. The dog encourages the snake to act, to trust that not everything needs to be controlled, that sometimes loyalty and effort matter more than perfect timing. They complement one another, growing not only as friends but as individuals. In the end, the friendship between Aries Snake and Leo Dog is not casual, not lighthearted, not temporary. It is a bond of gravity, of depth, of shared growth. They may clash, they may miscommunicate, but at their core, they are devoted to one another in ways that defy circumstance. The snake and the dog, when united in friendship, are not just companions on life's journey. They are guardians of each other's spirit, allies against the world, and eternal reminders that true friendship is not found easily, but once discovered, becomes a force that nothing can erase. Business. In the world of business, this pairing can be unstoppable, a force so complementary in its strengths and so compelling in its combined energy that, when balanced, it has the power to create enterprises that outlast the individuals themselves. Aries Snake and Leo Dog do not approach business with the same attitude or the same instincts, yet it is precisely this difference that makes them a formidable duo. Aries Snake, born with an instinct for strategy, is always 5 steps ahead of the competition, their mind calculating possibilities, predicting outcomes, and weaving plans that few others are capable of conceiving. They thrive in complexity, often excelling at spotting opportunities that remain invisible to others, manipulating circumstances into alignment, and turning chaos into advantage. To them, business is not just trade or profit, it is a chess game, one in which patience, vision, and control determine the winner. Leo Dog, by contrast, approaches business with a different energy, one rooted in integrity, persistence, and trustworthiness. Where the snake strategizes behind the curtain, the dog stands firmly in the light, winning loyalty and admiration from colleagues, clients, and subordinates alike. Their leadership feels natural, not forced. People follow them because they radiate honesty and fairness. While the snake might maneuver unseen, the dog builds credibility that cannot be questioned, becoming the visible face of reliability. In business, this makes them invaluable, because while vision alone can inspire, it is trust that sustains partnerships in growth. Together, the combination of snake and dog becomes something rare: vision and execution, cunning and integrity, mystery and transparency woven into a single machine. The snake designs the blueprint, maps the battlefield, anticipates shifts in the market, and creates strategies that defy conventional logic. The dog, meanwhile, ensures that those plans are carried out with unwavering persistence and hard work. If the snake is the architect, the dog is the builder who ensures that the foundations are strong and the structure endures. This synergy can build not just businesses but empires, enterprises that bear the mark of both brilliance and reliability. But this partnership is not without its risks. At the heart of their potential downfall lies the issue of power struggle. The snake's natural inclination is to control, not always through dominance, but through subtle influence, through ensuring that every decision, every action, ultimately aligns with their hidden agenda. The dog, however, resists manipulation instinctively. Loyal as they are, they cannot tolerate dishonesty or hidden motives for long. If they sense that the snake is trying to pull strings without transparency, their trust can evaporate quickly, replaced by resentment. Similarly, if the dog insists on moral purity to the point of rigidity, the snake may find them frustratingly naive, slow to adapt, or unwilling to take necessary risks. The balance, then, lies in roles. If they can agree, if the snake accepts their role as the visionary, the strategist, the mind working behind the scenes, and if the dog embraces their place as the implementer, the leader who ensures execution with loyalty and strength, their partnership can lead to extraordinary, almost unbelievable success. The snake needs the dog's trust to ensure their strategies are not undermined, while the dog needs the snake's brilliance to give their loyalty direction. Without this balance, they risk becoming adversaries instead of partners. Imagine them building a business together. The snake sketches out an ambitious expansion plan, predicting shifts in consumer behavior before anyone else sees them. The dog rallies the team, inspires investors, and creates a culture of honesty and hard work that keeps employees dedicated and proud. The snake works in shadows, adjusting strategies, playing with timing, moving pieces like a chess master, while the dog becomes the visible champion, the face of the company who people admire and follow. It is a dynamic that, when harmonious, makes them nearly invincible. Their combined skills also protect them from different kinds of failure. The snake alone risks alienating others through secrecy, manipulation, or ruthless ambition. The dog alone risks missing opportunities by being too straightforward, too hesitant to take bold risks. But together, they offset each other's weaknesses. The dog softens the snake's edges, making their strategies palatable and trustworthy. The snake pushes the dog to embrace vision and risk, preventing them from stagnating in safe but unremarkable endeavors. The result is a partnership that blends daring with dependability. The long-term success of their business bond depends on communication. Snake must learn to trust the dog enough to share more of their plan openly, so the dog does not feel used or excluded. Dog must learn to accept that not every detail can be revealed at once, and that some of Snake's secrecy is part of their strength, not necessarily deceit. When they communicate with respect, their alliance flourishes. When they fail to, suspicion creeps in, and suspicion is poison in business, especially between partners. If nurtured with mutual respect, the business relationship between Aries Snake and Leo Dog can become a legacy. They are the kind of pair that not only succeeds but leaves a mark, remembered for enterprises that were visionary yet trustworthy, daring yet enduring. The snake ensures that their projects always stay ahead of the curve, while the dog guarantees that their endeavors are built on strong foundations. Their partnership can be as grand as any empire, provided they honor their roles and remember that success is not about who holds the most power, but about what they can achieve together. In the end, their business bond is the perfect metaphor for their entire compatibility: fire and loyalty, mystery and honesty, strategy and devotion. Left unchecked, their differences can destroy everything. But when balanced, when each respects the other's strengths, there is no challenge too great, no goal too ambitious. Snake and dog together in business are not just partners, they are a force of nature, destined to create, to build, and to conquer. Dark sides. Every sign pairing has shadows, and the connection between Aries Snake and Leo Dog is no exception. Their union, though magnetic and full of potential, carries undercurrents that can, if left unchecked, turn passion into resentment and admiration into hostility. The beauty of their relationship lies in its depth, but that depth is precisely where their shadows also take root. For Aries Snake, the darkness comes in the form of manipulation, secrecy, and an occasional coldness that freezes out even the most devoted partner. For Leo Dog, the shadows emerge as demanding behavior, self-righteousness, and a stubborn refusal to bend when they feel betrayed. Both harbor tendencies that, if allowed to dominate, can create a cycle so toxic that love and respect become nearly impossible to maintain. The Aries Snake's need for control is often at the core of the problem. Snakes are natural strategists, and in the fiery sign of Aries, this strategy can manifest as an almost obsessive desire to dominate the emotional landscape of the relationship. They want to hold the strings, to ensure that nothing surprises them, to always remain one step ahead of their partner. While this can make them appear powerful and alluring, it can also suffocate. For the warm-hearted dog, who craves openness and loyalty above all else, this constant sense of being managed or tested can feel demeaning. They want a partner, not a puppeteer. The snake's cold detachment in moments of conflict, their ability to shut down emotionally, to retreat into silence or secrecy, further alienates the dog, who views such withdrawal as a violation of trust. On the other side, the Leo Dog carries its own burdens of darkness. Their loyalty, while noble, often transforms into expectation, and expectation into demand. The dog can become overly insistent on honesty, devotion, and validation, so much so that their partner begins to feel smothered. Their moral compass, usually a strength, can harden into self-righteousness, leaving no room for nuance or compromise. When the dog believes they are in the right, they stand immovable, their stubbornness like a wall that the snake cannot penetrate. And unlike the snake, who hides emotions behind a mask, the dog wears theirs openly, often using guilt, confrontation, or relentless questioning to force out answers they believe they deserve. To the snake, this feels invasive, an interrogation rather than an act of love. When these darker tendencies collide, the result can be devastating. The snake retreats further into secrecy, believing that the dog's demands are impossible to satisfy, and that safety can only be found in concealment. The dog, sensing the withdrawal, doubles down, pushing harder for transparency, demanding answers, growing louder and more desperate in their need for honesty. The more the dog pushes, the more the snake recoils. The more the snake hides, the more the dog insists. The cycle spirals, each feeding the other's darkest instincts, until what began as a passionate bond becomes a battlefield where no one truly wins. This toxic cycle, if left unresolved, can corrode even the strongest foundation. The snake, once admired for their mystery, becomes resented for their secrecy. The dog, once cherished for their loyalty, becomes criticized for their suffocating demands. Love turns to blame, intimacy becomes tension, and what once felt fated now feels like a trap. For this union to survive, both must confront these shadows with courage and humility. The snake must embrace honesty, not in the sense of full exposure, but in a willingness to share more openly, to let the dog into their inner world instead of building walls. They must learn that vulnerability is not weakness, and that by trusting their dog partner, they gain a protector rather than a threat. The dog, in turn, must learn to trust without constant reassurance, to accept that loyalty does not mean control, and that sometimes love must coexist with mystery. They must temper their self-righteousness with empathy, their stubbornness with flexibility. Only then can their shadows be transformed into strengths. The truth is, the darker sides of Aries Snake and Leo Dog are not flaws meant to destroy them. They are challenges designed to push both toward growth. The snake's secrecy, when balanced, becomes depth, a source of intrigue that keeps the relationship alive. The dog's insistence on loyalty, when softened, becomes a pillar of safety, a foundation upon which the snake can finally relax. The task is not to eliminate their shadows but to learn how to navigate them, to keep them from eclipsing the light they share. Ultimately, it is their ability to confront these dark sides that will determine the fate of their union. Will they retreat into the cycle of secrecy and demand, manipulation and stubbornness, until the bond collapses under its own weight? Or will they rise above, using honesty, patience, and trust to turn their weaknesses into tools for deeper connection? The answer lies in their willingness to grow, to see the shadow not as an enemy but as a teacher. If they succeed, the very shadows that once threatened to break them can instead become the crucible that strengthens their bond. The snake learns to share, the dog learns to trust, and together they forge a partnership that is as resilient as it is passionate. But if they fail, the darkness consumes them, leaving behind only the memory of what could have been. Life goals. Aries Snake seeks transformation, mastery, and influence. At their core, they are visionaries who cannot be content with a life of repetition or mediocrity. They want to shape the world according to their ideas, bending reality to match their inner vision, and they often prefer to remain in the shadows while pulling the strings. This tendency comes from both Aries' fiery drive and the snake's instinct for subtle control. They don't need the spotlight, but they crave power, not always in an obvious, material sense, but in the satisfaction of knowing they have directed outcomes, orchestrated events, and left an undeniable mark on the world. Their goals are ambitious, often revolutionary, and they are rarely satisfied with anything less than mastery in their chosen field. Leo Dog, however, dreams in a different direction. For them, life goals are not about power or manipulation, but about honor, loyalty, and building something that reflects integrity. They desire a life filled with love and connection, where the values of trust, courage, and devotion shape every decision. Their ambitions are no less significant, but they are more rooted in morality and in service to others. While the snake imagines influence and transformation, the dog envisions legacy and respect, a life where people remember them not for what they controlled but for how they lived with fairness and dignity. At first glance, these goals may seem at odds. The snake is willing to embrace shadows, to take risks, to weave complex strategies if it means achieving transformation. The dog, on the other hand, wants clarity, transparency, and an honorable journey that feels clean and righteous. Yet when brought together, these differences become a source of balance rather than conflict. The snake provides ambition and direction, setting the bar higher than the dog might have imagined on their own. The dog ensures that the pursuit of these goals remains grounded, ethical, and fulfilling, protecting both from the temptation to sacrifice too much in the name of success. In practice, their life goals can intertwine beautifully. The snake may envision building an enterprise, influencing culture, or mastering an art form, while the dog ensures that the process of building honors loyalty, honesty, and fairness. The dog's desire to create a meaningful and loving home life complements the snake's need to constantly evolve and pursue mastery. Together, they are capable of constructing not just careers or reputations, but entire lives that blend ambition with purpose, power with morality, influence with honor. The danger lies when they forget to appreciate the other's perspective. The snake may dismiss the dog's devotion to honor and loyalty as naive or limiting, while the dog may see the snake's hunger for influence as manipulative or self-serving. These judgments can create rifts, but if both recognize the value in what the other brings, their goals will not only align but strengthen one another. What makes their combination unique is that their life goals push each other to grow in areas they might otherwise neglect. The dog inspires the snake to ground their ambition in integrity, reminding them that true influence is not measured only in control but in the respect one commands. The snake pushes the dog to dream bigger, to reach beyond the safe and honorable into realms of mastery and transformation, showing them that loyalty and ambition need not be opposites but can coexist. Together, they have the potential to create a shared path that is extraordinary. The snake's vision sets the destination, the dog's loyalty ensures the journey remains steady, and their combined strengths create a life that is both impactful and deeply fulfilling. Their goals may differ in form, but in essence, they are two halves of a whole. One seeks to shape the world, the other to honor it, and in their union, both dreams can be realized. Final conclusions. So, what is the compatibility between Aries snake and Leo dog? To answer this, one cannot simply say, good, or bad, because their union is too layered, too complex, and too paradoxical for simple words. It is a relationship of contrasts, fire and warmth, secrecy and loyalty, passion and principle, ambition and integrity. It is a dance between light and shadow, where every step has the potential to either strengthen the bond or break it apart. At their worst, they may clash endlessly, each demanding the other change, each insisting that their own worldview is superior. The snake may see the dog as too rigid, too demanding, too suffocating in their endless need for reassurance and transparency. The dog, in turn, may see the snake as manipulative, too cold, too unwilling to let go of secrecy. If neither bends, the relationship can become a battlefield where affection turns into blame and attraction burns out into resentment. But at their best, this pairing transforms into something extraordinary. They can create a bond that is not only powerful but also enduring, one that transcends the ordinary patterns of compatibility. The Aries snake brings mystery, depth, sensuality, and vision. They teach the dog to embrace transformation, to live with intrigue, to expand their horizons beyond the safe and predictable. The Leo dog offers loyalty, honesty, courage, and a steady flame that refuses to flicker out. They remind the snake that stability and trust are not weaknesses but strengths that allow passion to flourish without fear. Together, they do not simply build a relationship, they create a legacy, a life story that inspires those around them. This compatibility is not automatic, nor is it easy. It requires effort, trust, compromise, and above all, a willingness to grow. The snake must learn that vulnerability is not an enemy, and the dog must accept that mystery is not betrayal. Each must confront their dark sides, the snake's secrecy, the dog's stubbornness, and turn them into tools for understanding rather than weapons for destruction. In doing so, they forge a love that is resilient, fiery, and unforgettable. In love, they must balance passion with loyalty. In marriage, they must reconcile independence with partnership. In sex, they must blend mystery with openness. In friendship, they must navigate secrecy and honesty. In business, they must merge strategy with integrity. In every sphere of life, the lesson is the same. Only through balance and mutual respect can their union thrive. But when it does, the results are remarkable. A partnership that combines the best of fire and steadiness, vision and devotion, ambition and honor. Ultimately, Aries snake and Leo dog represent the eternal truth of human connection. The greatest relationships are not the ones without conflict, but the ones where conflict becomes a catalyst for growth. Their contrasts are not curses, they are opportunities. Their differences are not weaknesses, they are complementary strengths waiting to be united. They will test each other, they will challenge each other, they will force one another to see life from new perspectives, and through this, they will become stronger, wiser, and more complete. When nurtured, their union can become one of the most remarkable partnerships, filled with fire, devotion, and unforgettable passion. They are capable of building not only a strong relationship but a life that feels like a story worth telling, a story of challenge and triumph, of shadow and light, of two very different souls who, against all odds, discover that together they are far more powerful than they could ever be alone.